Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests, other guests here. I want you to imagine you're in a room of a couple dozen people. You see, well, there seems to be a nice couple there sitting down, and they have a new baby. So I decided to walk up and introduce myself. Taking a risk here, someone new, I don't know what to expect, so I walk up and just introduce myself. They introduce themselves. Then comes along, it was a situation that happened recently where we did the introductions, asked the baby's name. They said the baby's name was Kim, and I did not realize that that baby had a blue outfit on. So I presumed that the baby was a girl. And then I continued in my conversation with them and said, how old is she? And then they responded, he is a couple weeks old. And I'm going, okay, where do I go with this conversation now? Part of me wanted to run the other way. So I just somehow continued on for a few moments, and then I left. I want to ask each one of you, have you ever felt uncomfortable pains in your stomach or nervous when you're in a group of people you don't know? You ever wish you could start up a conversation easily with people you're meeting for the first time? Or ever think, what do I even say to start up the conversation? And I don't look like an idiot just making dumb conversation. Do you ever think about how deep do I get into a conversation when I first meet someone? Or how far do I go on a level of conversation with someone I see? It can be tough to know sometimes how much to share at what time and part of the relationship. Yeah, you meet someone here for the first time. Well, today I am going to share you 4 different levels of communication with people that you meet for the first time, and then give you an example. Do a little role play with someone here in the group, and kind of share with you how that looks. Then I want to have a feedback session for a few moments, get ideas what you thought of how the role playing went, and what might have worked better or differently in that situation. Level 1 is small talk. Kind of like what I did in my first example there. You start with about the current events, the weather, things like that. You usually do this for about 1 to 2 minutes. A little chit-chat, I would also call it. At this level, you don't share too much. You just kind of get to know the person, see if you want to continue the conversation somewhere else. And you will decide if you want to continue on to the next level and find out more, disclose more facts. That is the next second level is fact disclosure. Fact disclosure, you can share about your job, your hobbies, or any sports you like, or maybe something about someone else. You have someone else that you have in common. Maybe a mutual friend that you've met in the surroundings where you're at. Maybe it's a conference, church event, sports event, things like that. If the conversation is going well at this point, then you can move on to level 3, which is sharing viewpoints and opinions. Which means it could be information about politics. It could be about more of your personal viewpoints. So you're revealing a little bit more about yourself at this point. So you feel a little more safe, you feel more comfortable, you think you have a little bit in common, you're revealing a little bit more of a stronger opinions and viewpoints. It's going to be talking about politics, or it can be talking about a mutual friend that you have in common that you've met at this event or met in the past. If you both seem to be having a good time and connecting well, you can continue to the fourth level of conversing, which is sharing your personal feelings. All like to share our feelings now, don't you? So this might be some things a little more personal in nature than any of the previous three levels. You're sharing about maybe some challenges, issues at work, with finances, or a spouse, and you're having challenges with someone. This is a person that you feel a little more closer with, and this is a person that, or there's a level that you're going to speak about, probably not at the first time you meet them, not probably in the first 10, 15, 20 minutes. Maybe it's to say you get together at another time. Hey, let's get together and talk more, and you really enjoyed that part of the conversation, and the relationship is building. So maybe go out for coffee, so you get build a little bit more in this relationship part. So you just keep sharing, and that'll be a lot of the point. Successful communication moves from one level, level 1, to level 2, to level 3, to level 4. You may be sharing. This doesn't all happen on the first meeting. You can share it before. Be sure to ask open-ended questions. It really helps. So you're not getting, especially like by level 3 or 4. If you ask questions that are answered with a no or yes, it's going to be really hard. Just keep going forward. It's good just to keep asking questions, but really listen well to what the other person is sharing. And I'm sure each one of us can remember a conversation that maybe started at level 1 and then jumped to level 4. Okay. And then this person, you at that time, maybe they just like, hi, my name is Brian or Joe, and they just jumped in and they were telling their life story and they were telling all their problems and everything. You were become more of a counselor than just meeting someone and building that relationship. It is important to get the feeling as to which level of communication you feel comfortable with and which one you're at, so you're not revealing too much for every person that you're meeting. At this point, I'm going to ask Monty, he's been so kind to come up. And help me out with a little role play. We really didn't go out too much ahead of time as to what we're going to talk about, so it's going to be hopefully pretty natural. The setting here, as I'm going to just share with you, is Sunday morning. We just met at church, where I'm just going to take an opportunity to walk up to someone who looks like they're new for the first time, or I haven't met them yet. So we're just going to have a conversation. What I'm going to do is apply some of these levels of communication that we can just use as an example.
Hi.
My name's Alva. What's your name?
Hi, Alva. My name is Longy.
Longy. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Nice to meet you. How are you doing?
Pretty good. First time to come to this church. It
Yeah?
was interesting.
Oh, good. Good. Well, I'm glad you're here. Have you been enjoying the weather or been really struggling with the heat of it?
A little bit. My hometown seems much better, in my personal opinion.
Oh, yeah? Is it a lot wind and a little bit cooler weather?
We kind of like in Florida.
Oh, much
We
more
enjoy,
like
yeah.
Florida. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's neat. Did you know anybody here? Have you been coming to church for a while?
No, this is the first time.
First
I
time?
tried to find out why these guys going to church, because Me, I never went to church before.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm glad you came and you're enjoying yourself.
So far seems good, even though a lot of things I don't know what they're talking about.
Well, do you know anybody, have you met anybody else yet?
And not yet. This one, you're the first person.
Oh, okay, well, welcome. I'm glad that you're enjoying yourself.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. And what have you thought about the service or the other people here so far?
Kind of like language is still new for me. I'm coming from another country, still learning English. It's one of the reasons I try to learn English from church.
Okay.
That somebody told me.
Yeah. So it's helping you with your language and understanding
that's what I'm
English?
hoping, yeah.
Oh, good, good. Well, I'm glad that's really helping and things are going well.
Yeah, so far seems like, thank you.
I hope you can spend some time with us in the fellowship hall, enjoy and meet some other people, feel
Yeah.
comfortable here.
Yeah, hope so.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, very
Right.
nice to meet you. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
it.
Yeah, thank you. Nice to meet you.
Have a good day.
Have a good day.
This is just an example of what we were trying to explain here. We did a little small talk, we talked about the weather, events, and we moved it on to back disclosure. He's new, new things were coming, viewpoints. You know, I asked him questions about what he thought of how the service was, or if he met anybody, or if he knows anybody here yet. At this point, I would like to open up to questions from any of you that you may have learned from what I've shared, any tools, things that you may use in the future when trying to meet someone for the first time that could really help you in that communication, or anything, maybe what's something you observed in our role playing that we could, maybe good feedback as to what we could do better in the communication or the role playing. Let's kind of open it. Yes, Carolyn.
Alva, has Toastmasters made that easier for you to approach people? Or were you always that welcoming? Or could you approach people with never a problem?
I think it's been a gradual process. I think it has. I think it's been part of how I've developed as being in Toastmasters. It's helped me to be reaching out to new people and help me see people for, put myself in their spot, see how they're doing. I was a new person once and everybody welcomed me, so I feel like that's important for me to do as well. Thanks, Carol, for asking that. That's great. I have a question. Oh, yes, sir. Mike.
So if somebody says that, okay, I am Mahi and I'm talking to another person, he says that, so what? Then how do you react? How do you continue the conversation from level 1 to
Are you saying, so what, like they answer with one word answer?
I mean, you started talking to somebody, like level 1, level 2,
Yes.
and you want to continue, you're new, pretty new here,
Yes.
and somebody says that, oh, I'm Alva, then say, so what?
So introduce yourself to me.
Yeah, then how do you continue that? Do we lose the temper or,
I think it would be wise when you're listening, what's good you did listen to perceive that either they're being sarcastic or just goofy, and you could just move on to the next question. The point is just keep asking questions. So it you almost have control of the conversation to keep it moving forward to get to that level. Or you could hightail it out of the conversation and find someone else to talk to. Well, great, thank you for your feedback and your time here. Well, just in closing here, a good conversationalist is most of all a good listener. They take time to wait for information that the other person is sharing and be sincere about your responses. Now you should have a few tools to use when you are conversing for the first time with someone new. I also want to encourage each one of you, when you're in a group, you really don't know many people. Maybe you're at a wedding, and you really only know the bride and groom. Just take a time, take a moment to find that person in the group. It's kind of like in the same boat. They really don't know anybody. And use some of these tools. Just start asking them questions. They'll open up. People like to talk about themselves. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, for all those.